Welcome to the Ghost Stories YouTube channel. Here, we will bring you the scariest experiences through ghost stories, mysteries, and inexplicable mysteries of the mysterious world. Whether you are someone who enjoys learning about ghost stories or simply looking for a new entertainment experience, our channel will be the ideal destination. Join us in the horror space and get ready for the most tense and scary moments. Don't forget to press the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any new videos. Thank you for joining the Ghost Stories YouTube channel, and now, get ready for some spooky moments with us. The Death Spells. Chapter 1. The day my aunt passed away, not many people came to pay her respects. It was a gloomy day. The sky did not rain, but dark clouds filled the sky as if they were about to collapse, making people's hearts feel even heavier. My aunt has no family, but is the concubine of a coal merchant in Quang Ninh. Before, when my aunt came to see him, my sister, my mother, tried to stop him vehemently, but it was useless. He went to my aunt's place 2 to 3 times a month, despite his wife and children in Quang Ninh being extremely dissatisfied. He inexplicably kept hanging on to my aunt. My aunt is not beautiful, as people often say behind my family's back. In our family, my aunt cast a spell on Mr. Quang to complain, so he made him fall in love with her for nearly 20 years. Yet they lived together for nearly 20 years but had no children, making it even more difficult to understand why a not-so-beautiful woman like her could keep a wealthy tycoon like Mr. Quang. Of course, the story of bewitching our family was just considered a malicious statement and ignored without much concern. Bitch deal, I finally waited for this day, you finally die, ha ha ha. A middle-aged woman wearing a 3-piece outfit, purple shirt and black pants, with very long hair rushed into the funeral hall. Her face was so white it was intimidating, highlighting the sharp face that had been so beautiful many years ago. I've seen the photo before, so it's not hard to recognize that it's Mrs. Van, the official wife of the wealthy Quang, then, in QN. There was a loud explosion of lightning, the funeral hall suddenly lost power, people were in a commotion partly because of Mrs. Van, but also because of fear. No one dared to stand near the candlelit coffin on such a dark and gloomy winter afternoon, so they quickly fled out the door. My mother sobbed and walked in front of the big and small van for a while. Finally, she laughed loudly, a laugh so pitiful and creepy that the hairs on the back of my neck stood up and my arms felt like they were prickling. Mrs. Van coldly said to my mother, but I was standing nearby and could hear clearly, she has committed a very serious crime. If you are smart, sell the house she lives in and throw away all her belongings, including gold and silver, don't keep one thing, luckily. Her sharp eyes glanced at me, making my heart skip a beat. Fuck, why is she looking at me? After saying that, she gracefully left. I thought vaguely, Mr. Quang did not like such a beautiful person, and even gave birth to him 2 girls and 1 boy. A person who is not beautiful and cannot give birth to children like my aunt, why has he been fascinated for so many years? Or is it the kind of love people often talk about? According to my aunt's will, my family took her to the Hon Vu incarnation platform for cremation and then brought her ashes to Yen Kai Cemetery for burial. Right after bringing the body inside for cremation, it was pouring rain. My mother almost collapsed, so I helped her into the car to go home. That night, I had a bit of trouble sleeping. Closing my eyes, I remember the scene where the eldest Lady Van appeared with a mournful laugh, her white face and purple shirt in the blackout scene of the funeral hall, shivering. I touched the face of the red emerald on my neck, wondering if I should take off this necklace or put it away. This is a gift my aunt gave me 3 days before she passed away. It is a bracelet that my aunt has always treasured, and as soon as I saw it, I loved it as a child. Among my relatives and grandchildren, my aunt loves me the most. My mother often takes me to visit her. I consider her my second mother, even though I don't like her way of doing things, but still. It's an adult matter, I can't interfere. When my aunt was in the hospital, she often called me to come. Before she passed away, She also gave me this bracelet, and told me absolutely not to sell it or give it to anyone, only I could wear it. I really like it. I heard that red emeralds are very valuable. This was a gift Mr. Kwong gave to my aunt many years ago, which my aunt always carries with her. But thinking about what the eldest Lady Van said, you can't keep her belongings, the whole family has to sell them, I'm confused about what she means, should I keep this bracelet or not? 2 weeks after my aunt passed away, her lawyer suddenly came to announce her will. She left all her assets in her house in Langha to me, her sister's child, not my sister. Any other grandchildren? My mother was calm as if she already knew what was going to happen, while her relatives and peers cried out in jealousy. My aunt is also a wealthy person. Normally, her nieces and nephews still come to flatter her and ask for money. My aunt also generously gives them her money. But in the end, she did not divide the property among all the children, but only with me. After completing the name transfer procedure, I rented the house to someone because I was not married yet and did not want to live alone away from my parents. But strangely, after renting for about 2 to 3 months, the tenants quickly leave, accepting the loss of their deposit. The last person to leave even openly told me that something doesn't suit feng shui. I often have nightmares, my work doesn't go well. I'm not a superstitious person, so I just ignore it, rent it out so I can earn a little extra. Great, if this person doesn't hire someone else will. 9 months after my aunt died, my brother got married. My mother advised me to move to the other house and live separately because my house in the old town is very small, and now with more people it is not convenient to live. I thought it made sense, so I packed up my things and moved to my aunt's house in Langha, where I lived alone. This is also the first time I live alone. My aunt's house is quite large, 2 floors, built in French style, located in a quiet, airy residential area. It's not that I'm superstitious, but the day I stepped into that house, I suddenly felt a gloomy atmosphere that made my spine cold, and I remembered the afternoon of my aunt's funeral. Shaking my head and laughing at myself for being so weak, I ignored that feeling of dread and moved my things in. Sleeping alone at my aunt's house for 2 days, the second night I started having sleep paralysis. During sleep paralysis, I saw a shadow of a young woman with long hair lying behind me. When I struggled to wake up, I saw no one around. At 3 o'clock at night, I hugged my shoulders in fear, alone in a cold, strange house, secretly regretting moving here to live alone. After a while, I fell asleep again. The next morning I almost forgot about having sleep paralysis the night before and went to work normally. The sleep paralysis happened continuously for a week, but only around 3 o'clock at night, I sobbed a bit and then went back to sleep. During the day, I hardly paid attention to those dreams, I simply thought I was a stranger to my home and had a bit of a nightmare. Until 1 month after moving into that house, I had a strange clear dream, not the vague sleep paralysis like before. In the dream, I was in an old-fashioned room, with an old woman, very old but with jet black hair, sleeping soundly. She dressed in ethnic style, colorful clothes. The scary thing is that her legs are not healthy, they are shriveled and atrophied like a person who has been bedridden for a long time. She opened her eyes and looked at me, her old but sharp, beautiful face, plus her hair that should have been very silver but was as black as ebony, ordered, "Miss, come here and help me up. I'm old and weak and can't sit by myself." I moved closer to help her up, and suddenly shivered when I realized that her eyes had no lenses, only 2 eye sockets that were leaking blood. I was scared. She chuckled and caressed my neck, her hand passed over the emerald necklace on my neck. "Scared? Don't be scared, girl." Her voice was long, her voice was sweet, not like that of an old person. "The bracelet is so beautiful, the red color is as beautiful as the color of blood. Strange, how can blind people see colors? Can I have it? Give me your bracelet." She whispered softly in my ear again. My aunt's voice rang in my ears, "Don't take it off, don't take it off." I unconsciously put my hand on my neck and struggled. When I woke up again, it was 3 o'clock at night, gasping for breath. Thank you for taking the time to watch Ghost Stories video. Hopefully the content has brought you interesting and meaningful moments. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the Ghost Stories YouTube channel to follow the channel's next videos. See you in the next video. Have a good day.